Hi everybody, Kat here. Welcome to the channel. Hope you're having a great Wednesday morning. Meghan Markle is such a crunt, isn't she? That's what we're going to be talking about today. All Meghan all the time, just the way she likes it. This woman is just beyond the pale. Just beyond the pale every day. It's something new, some revelation. We learn more about her, and it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. I mean, from the very beginning, when she came on the scene, she maneuvered and manipulated Harry. We know that now. He's weak and stupid and you know, traumatized to begin with. And she took advantage of that right from the beginning, from wearing Diana's perfume on their first meeting. We know the whole thing was contrived. There's just so much, but today's just a rant about Meghan. Gotta do it sometime, you know, you just get fed up. The woman, yeah, she completely bowled Harry over, and if all what I've heard is true, she lied to him and the Queen and said she was pregnant, and that's why they had to rush the marriage. There's even speculation that when he took her to that trip in Africa, when they were just dating like for 3 weeks or something, takes her on a trip, she pees in the woods and he's just that's the girl for me. There's speculation that they actually got married very rashly on that trip, and that is why when they came back, unlike anyone before, the Queen invited Meghan to Sandringham for Christmas before they were officially married. So, I mean, it's a whole thing. Right from the beginning, she manipulated him. At the time, Prince Charles thought quite well of her in the beginning, but like the Queen and Princess Anne and I think Sophie, others were, William, they were on to her. And then as things progressed, the feud with William and Kate really, notwithstanding that everything was so rushed and they could see right through her that she was, you know, a gold digger, she verbally abused their staff at Kensington Palace. And, you know, so from that point on, very early on, even before the wedding, most of the royal family and Prince Philip, wow, they all knew that she was trouble, right? But you can't. At the time, you know, the king gave Harry his blessing, basically, and it was just a whirlwind of shit since then that they've been, you know, and she pulled Harry away from his whole family. I mean, she's estranged from her own family, and she wasn't a nice person growing up. We've seen and heard all kinds of stories and people that used to be her friend. We've got a new word. Since Meghan was on the scene, you can now be markled. That's like just being dropped like a cold fish when she's done with you. And, you know, good grief. This woman has had, you know, she has had her influence on the world, but it hasn't been good. Not at all. She pulled Harry away. Now, I will say, since Harry and Meghan have been together, one thing, we have seen a little bit of truth seep out amongst all the lies. We now know Harry's true nature that was hidden and protected and covered up and made allowances for by the palace all his life. He was always a nasty little man. He's, you know, unintelligent, rude, you know, all the things that we're seeing him project now. His his bad attitude and his chip on his shoulder and all of those things, they were always there, but they were well hidden from the public. Well, he was part of the royal family. So we do get that now, and there's some kind of a hellish team that have been foisted on the public because of their position, because of Harry's position, really. You know, he's been courted by the Aspen Institute, the Democratic Party, all kinds of New World Order-y kind of people with agendas to really put the rest of us in our place, you know, take away our privileges, take away our rights, all of these kinds of things. He's knee-deep in all this crap with the globalists, you know. That's because, well, there you go, really. Just another home truth. Because the royal family, in fact, are globalists themselves, and part of that ruling elite, they are also part of and promote the agenda. Look at all the involvement. The King and William and the World Economic Forum and climate change and the green agenda and all this absolute madness. They're knee-deep in it, and they espouse it every chance they get. It's never going to affect them, but the policies that they're going to promote and encourage, no, it's going to impact you and me, you betcha. But so this is the position that we're in. And I'm not saying Meghan, she's not smart enough to scam all this herself. I mean, sure, from the very beginning. And it starts at home. Her father indulged her. She was a princess. She had a bad attitude by the time she was 8 years old. Nobody's ever said no, and she's always been protected. Same as Harry. They're kind of two peas in a pod in that way. And now, because indeed, even though they've left, he is still being protected by the royal family, and that means diplomatic protection, protection from governments, you know, the whole thing. He's vying for this super-duper protected person status. You know, he's already got it. You know, they want an 80-car motorcade and outriders on motorcycles and armed guards, and it's ridiculous. But anyway, I mean, look at the latest trip to Nigeria. They had the armed guards and the motorcade and all of that, and, you know, but Meghan doesn't even know how to behave on a trip like that. Everywhere they've gone, everything they've done, they've managed to offend somebody. They've pretty much offended everybody on the planet by now. The UK doesn't want to have anything to do with her. Canada's done. The United States are just getting sick and tired and bored with her, and she, you know, because the United States is, yeah, they love an underdog, and a victim statement can work for a while, but they expect you to overcome and work hard and actually accomplish something. Then they're, you know, they're very supportive. Meghan's done nothing. Everything, you know, every little thing, whether it be 40 by 40 or the archetypes or Netflix, or everything she does is a one-off. Have you noticed? Every time they get involved with some charity, and what they do is they find a charity that's doing good work, show up, offer to help for one day or give a small donation or whatever, and get photos, and then hijack that as if they were actually the people that, you know, were making a difference. This is how they operate. They're absolute scammers. Netflix executive called them effing grifters. Can you imagine? And this is the guy that was paying them. Unbelievable. this latest trip to Nigeria, I mean, it was so offensive. Meghan was so terrible in her behavior that the first lady of Nigeria had to go make a speech to the young girls and women of her country. Say, nobody likes, we're not a culture, we don't walk around naked. Nobody wants to see you half naked. It's just not on. You don't do it. You don't want to be like Meghan Markle. And who the hell, why'd she come to Nigeria anyway? What was the point? Oh yeah, the First Lady, not impressed. You know, so there's another country they ticked off. Australia, their first trip when they were members of the royal family. You know, we've got Meghan throwing hot cups of tea, calling the mansion, the Governor General's mansion where they were staying at, she called it a housing complex. The implication being it was like a ghetto situation, you know. I mean, the woman is terrible. Oh, and Archie almost got set on fire in Australia. Can you imagine? There are no kids. That's just another lie that's been perpetrated, and lots of people, and a couple YouTubers in particular, have made phone calls and written letters and done real research, and there's no records of these kids. I mean, I've been saying from the beginning, there's no kids. There's no kids. But yeah, Meghan just keeps rolling on. She's angry, but doesn't stop her. You know, I forget what it was. There was, oh yeah, well, the news of Catherine's cancer diagnosis and all of this. So everyone was very concerned, and the conversation was around Catherine and all of this, and quite an outpouring of that and concern from the public worldwide that Meghan, with a plan half-hatched and a couple pictures taken, decided she's going to launch American Riviera Orchard, an absolute rip-off of Flamingo Orchard or something, Flamingo something. Anyway, so yeah, just outrageous. Just, you know, she's going to give jam away. Jam which she never made. She bought from a food supply company, put it in their jars, slapped her label on it. Label doesn't even stick. Sent it to supposedly 50 people. I mean, we've only seen Instagram proof of this from about, I don't know, 10 of them or something. Nobody's impressed with your jam, Meghan. Nobody's impressed with your faux royal trip to Nigeria. Nobody's impressed with you at all. And apparently, they're planning even more of these trips. I've heard Ghana as another, you know, and here we go. And you hate to sound racist. It is what it is. And I think Meghan's a racist. But, you know, so what are they doing? They're gonna use her biracial status to their advantage and go make a hit on another Commonwealth country, another country full of, you know, poor people, downtrodden people run by a corrupt government and rampant warlords and little regional businessmen and dictators, you know, the corruption, it sounds like every other country in the world, to be honest with you, but yeah. And the people they associate with, as we discovered in the trip to Nigeria, the guy that owns the airline, you know, he's wanted for all kinds of millions of dollars worth of fraud in America. Can you imagine? These are the people that they hang around with, you know. These are the people they're willing to do business with. So we're just going to see more of the same. The palace is starting, I think, to get a little perturbed with it. And by the palace, I mean perhaps the men in charge and perhaps Prince William. I think I think Charles is just, well, he's my son. We don't want to take the titles away. There's good and bad in that, because then they could technically call themselves Prince and Princess. And you know that Meghan would jump on. She wouldn't be Princess Henry. She'd be Princess Meghan. But that can even be remedied. I mean, Charles is the king. A letters patent that everybody said, oh, letters patent. It's nothing more than an internal memo. Charles has and just like the Queen of the Netherlands, she could strip him of his prince title. He could strip, Harry of his prince title. He could strip him of everything, you know, and Mr. and Mrs. Mountbatten Windsor, it would be. All it needs is a decree from Charles and everybody, but he's not going to do it. And this is why, and I've been saying all along since I started this channel, there's going to be a seminal event that topples Charles off the throne. The cancer is an excuse. William's going to make his move. Nobody, the world, the British government, the British people, and William and the rest of the royal family do not agree with the king. It's going to get interesting. Have a great day, everybody. Like, subscribe, leave me a comment. Love to know what you have to say. Bye for now.